Well, hello everyone. Happy Thursday night. I'm Tia Knapp, and
And
I'm
I'm
here
Dr.
with.
Michael Gross. Thank you for joining us, everyone. It's joy that you're here with us. Thank you for being with us.
We appreciate your time. We only do this for half an hour, so we're going to get right to the heart of it, so that Michael has as much time as possible to share his incredible words of wisdom and the topic tonight. So I'm going to let Michael tell you the topic, but really quick, here's the information on Dr. Michael Gross. He's a professional keynote speaker, energy transformational coach, and he's also an author of The Spiritual Primer: Applying God's 12 Transformational Laws to Reawaken Your Soul by Reconnecting to God, the True Source, to experience your true source's love, joy, and happiness. His second edition book is currently available through him because it's not up on Amazon yet, which is really cool, but you'll be able to get a signed copy from him. So I'll put all that information in the comments, okay? For over 30 years, Michael Gross has been a spiritual teacher, multidimensional healer, transformational coach, and so many more things. He works with individuals while hearing fragmented parts of their soul in order to help them find their ever growing, more perfect lives. He has workshops, he does sessions, personal one on ones, and he also does classes. His vast store of knowledge includes positive affirmations, spiritual techniques that powerfully affect your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, family, vocation, and life path to achieve your unlimited life. He's an international intuitive consultant for corporations traveling over half the world. His clients are in the US, Australia, New Zealand, South America, Asia, and other countries. He's also been on international radio shows. For more information on Michael, we will tell you a little tiny bit more. Michael has created a 501c3 nonprofit, and perhaps right before we get going on his message, he'll tell you a little bit more about it. But I'm going to move on because this man is a phenomenal source of knowledge and wisdom. He has, like I said, many accolades, but he's certified as a professional hypnotherapist. He's a thought field therapist, timeline therapist, Reiki master teacher, Master of Science in Human Services and Gerontology. He's Bachelor of Science in Human Services and Gerontology. He's also a non-denominational minister. He is also a Washington Supreme Court certified professional guardian graduate and a guardian ad litem. He's got a doctorate in alternative healing and psychology, and on and on and on he goes. He's been in this field for over 30 years, and I am honored and thrilled to be working with this incredible man. So let's go ahead and turn the floor over to the amazing Dr. Michael Gross, and I'll be putting everything into into the comments in Facebook, okay? So there you go, Michael. Welcome, and I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's really great. I appreciate you joining us. And yes, I have a 501c3, which is the International Institute of Self Empowerment. And when Spirit told me to form this, I don't know what I was going to do with it, but I was told to do it. And miracles happened, how we got it through so quickly and registered with the IRS. And then, even furthermore, told it would have 12 arms, and the first arm was to work with abused women, children, and men. And TU wrote a book called Healing the Holes in Your Soul, which we'll talk about later. And I decided that with True Inner Source guidance, that she was an expert in, and I asked her to be director of that division. She agreed, so thank you. And, just want to remind everyone that contact us or contact me because we're a 501c3. And if you're looking to make donations that are tax deductible, here we are. All right. I'd like to talk to you about why am I here? What's the reason I'm here? How come I incarnated? What's all this stuff about? What's reincarnation? And what's this stuff about, karma and dharma and all the stuff I'm going through in my life? And I'd like to attempt to answer some of those questions. And if I don't finish tonight, well, then we'll do it next week or unless we finish it. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about karma. And karma is nothing but an experience. And some of you have heard me say that before, but I'd like to go into a little bit more depth. When we first left the bosom of the true source and we went out and created and so on, the human side, the emotional side of us that we forgot about our loving, but we had to learn what different energies were. We made some mistakes, let's just call it that. And we messed up. And so in our wisdom, we said, well, I think we got to hold our feet to the fire. So how are we going to learn our lessons? How are we going to change these things? So we asked for the law of karma and dharma. So karma with a K is nothing but an experience. Supposing you stole money in a past life, and so karmic, when you have to come back and have money stolen from you, and you go, oh, now I understand all the pain I've created. And the karma is all over with. Or supposing you gave away $1,000,000 and now you come reincarnate and somebody's got to give you $1,000,000 to see what it's like. So it's just an exchange of energy. That's all it really is. But we as human beings, before we incarnate, we decide what we want to learn, what we're going to accomplish. We write a script, who we're going to be around, who's going to support us, who we're going to support. And then afterwards, we incarnate. And then, as I said, around the age of 3, the veil of forgetfulness descends upon us, and everything seems brand new. There are a few who remember their past lives, but the overwhelming majority don't. Now that we understand why we're one of the reasons we're here, I would like to have you look at uh, Mother Earth as a school, and you're working on your grade school. Then you're going to intermediate school, then you're going to go to your secondary or high school, and then you're going to go on to your college and your PhD and so on and so forth. Of course, these are just examples. We're all here to do several things. This is a year of karma, and that's what I'd like for you to understand. Within the year of karma, what does that really mean? Well, it's dharma and karma. So beautiful rewards coming to you from your past lives and challenges coming from your past lives. And notice I use the word challenges because karma is nothing but an experience, but you are able to change it around. By that, I mean you have two choices. You can run away from it and say, I'll do it another lifetime. What happens? No punishment, but we tendency go, I really messed up. I should have done it in this past lifetime. I want to make it so tough that I have no choice to change. So your guides and angels go, well, no, it's a little too hard on yourself. Take a little bit at a time. Nope, I know better. I'm surrounded with all this love and I'm just going to do it now. And then we get there and we go, what did I create? Oh my goodness gracious. And sometimes we can take the negative course or the positive or loving course. We have to do that. And that's our free will and choice. So whatever we're doing, we're creating some kind of response, or we would say in this lifetime, a payoff. So what does a payoff really mean? You can call it karma, what comes around goes around, right action and correct exchange, whatever. But if we understand that we create love, we get love, create chaos, we get chaos, that's the payoff. So we are at a precipice at this time that those of you who are watching this, and this is the year 2024, which is going to be going on for at least 6 to 7 years, we have the opportunity to heal and change the course. What does that mean? That means that every thought that you have sooner or later is going to manifest into your life. Thoughts are things. You may manifest something positive 3 months, 2 months ago, 2 days, 2 weeks. Forget about it. You go, oh boy, I'm really lucky. Something wonderful happened. We manifest that in the past. Or there's some kind of chaos or anxiety or whatever. You manifested that in the past. Well, what about illness? Well, the question, what about illness? How come we have illness? Why did we attract that? Good question. Why did we attract that? You're not a victim. And how do you cure an illness? Well, very simple. But emotionally, you have to learn something from the illness. So you feel the pain, the insecurities, the doubt, the fears, the block, the anxiety, yada, yada, yada. So now, why did I create this in my life? What am I to learn? That's the important part of it. What am I to learn? Acknowledge it. Don't punish yourself or beat yourself up. Acknowledge it. Remember, I've talked about so many things in your life, and there's no such thing as failure because you learn what worked and didn't work. when you're having a karmic reaction that's challenging. Notice my words, challenging. Challenge means you can overcome it. You got to work at it, but you got to work at it and then overcome it. Stop for a moment and think all the little trials and tribulations you had in your life that you overcame. Since you were a kid, you had to learn how to walk. Maybe you learned how to ride a bike. Maybe you learned how to play soccer or badminton or volleyball or whatever it is, a sport. You had to learn it. And that's no different than going to school, learning how to spell, learning how to write, learning how to do math. You had to learn it. And look at all those things in your life and you mastered it. You truly did, because you wouldn't be here listening to me right now. You would be somewhere else. You wouldn't be interested in it. And it's really fascinating how things come back. And some of you remember that when we were in high school, we had English composition. We had syntax, and that was to understand different words, adjectives, adverbs, commas, period, explanation points, and also dangling participles. Oh, that was something interesting. I never really got that. Like, it leaves you hanging. And I was called at the college and said, look, we need somebody to teach remedial English because these kids that are not grading, but graduating high school, they can't write and they can't speak well. And we want you to do that. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Now I had to learn English all over and dangling participles. That was my karma to understand that. But I wrote a book and it's called, Manifestation Protocols. And I realized I did that because I had to understand the languaging a lot better to be clearer. But when I taught about punctuation marks, I said to everybody, difficult. When should you use an adjective? When should you use an adverb? When should you use a period and exclamation point? Well, listen to yourself talk. What do you think? What would you put after the word think? Period, explanation point, comma, or question mark? And they said, well, question mark because you're thinking. Right. So that's the way I would teach, and it came naturally and naturally and naturally. It came easier and easier and easier. Think about that. When we get out of our analytical, logical mind, and then we turn around and say, when I'm talking, I'm either finishing a sentence, which would be a period, or if there's some kind of joy or happiness, I'm happy. You can put period, exclamation point, or a question with a question mark. But think about all that. Now think about your life. Everything in your life you're learning, and that's so important. And what is so important about your life is that you are the creator. Now, why am I here? And I'm going to go into a little bit more deeply. I just want you to know this is channeled. And so if I make some mistakes in my sentences or whatever, it's because I'm floating and channeling the information. Nothing's rehearsed. But I know Tia would like to say something. So go ahead, Tia.
Just really quick, when you start giving more information, how is it that we can recognize and stop that analogical mind so that we can actually be paying attention to ourselves?
Good question. So the analogical mind, and that's a combination of two words I made up, analytical and logical mind. There's something within yourself and in your understanding that creates doubt. And therefore you want to analyze it and examine it. Challenge is there's nothing wrong with it except that the ego gets into it. And then your fears and doubts get into it. And then it becomes a positive to a negative. It's like, oh, you look good today. Well, the analogical mind goes, well, didn't I look good yesterday? Am I so ugly that I'll look good all the time? I mean, am I too fat? Am my hair the wrong style? Do I have the wrong lipstick on? Or do I have the wrong shirt on? I mean, all this stuff goes in the analogical mind instead of, yeah, it's a nice compliment, period. That's it. That's all it's meant, is a compliment. But the analogical mind, because there's fear and doubt that you're insecure, you don't love yourself. Oh, remember, lack of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem, that's what's coming up. Therefore, sometimes an innocent remark is just an innocent remark. It is what it is. Like the wall is white. That's it. And then the analogical mind, I remember one of my students was saying something and she wanted a full explanation. And she turned around, one of my other students, she said, see the wall in this office? It's white. It's not pink, white, orange, white, gray, white, white. It's white. Just take it at face color. That's all it is. Stop analyzing. And so she stopped being so skeptical. There's nothing wrong with analyzing, but when you stop thinking about the analyzing and then you go into all these tangents, which are positive and negative, because we're always comparing the past with the present, that's when we get off course. And I remember one of the expressions of President Ronald Reagan: trust but verify. So trust. And so I said, you look good today. So trust that you look good and verify, well, do I look good? Is there anything little negative needle about it? No, it's just a statement. It is what it is. And then you'll be able to accept compliments. Most people cannot accept compliments. They feel really, really skeptical. What's he got up his sleeve? Why is he doing this? And I was just talking to a client of mine earlier today, and she tries to read something into everything. And I go, stop it. Just a statement. I'm not ghosting you. I'm not criticizing you. It's just a statement. Well, I have to analyze because I don't trust people. Well, that's your problem. You got to learn to trust. Well, how do I know trust? Because people took advantage of me. And that's something I'd like to address. So there's something called true inner source guidance, or you might call it gut feeling or intuition feeling. If it feels right, it's right. If it feels wrong, it's wrong. You don't have to analyze it. You just innately, automatically understand it's either a positive or a negative. Remember the story about the ugly duckling that became a swan, right? They made fun of the ugly duckling and became this beautiful swan. We are all evolving, just like that story with the ugly duckling. You are changing, you are evolving. But too many times we're looking in the mirror and we're listening to everybody else. What are they saying? What are they saying about me? Well, there are people that are jealous or want to be like you and they want to put you down. It's not being egotistical or haughty or being better than anybody else. It's just being who you are. We're not being who we are. We're always trying to be something else. So it's not who you truly are. And I often say you truly are. Or now we use organic. Sometimes I use the term the authentic you. Then they use organic in different words. I've been at this a long time and I looked at different healing modalities. And I will tell you, I don't know everything. I don't know them all. But I sat there one time talking to a friend of mine and I began to look at, and sometimes I have to get continuing education units for the professional work that I do. And I remember what I learned in college years ago. Now they give it a new name and it's the same thing. Then they give it a new name 10 years later. Oh, that's the rage. Nothing ever changes. It's all the same. But we give it new names and it becomes the rage. And then we try this and it becomes the rage. You want all the answers? They all lie within you. Well, how do I get my answers? Take a look at your life. If you're walking up a brick wall, in other words, you have challenges, reverse engineering. And ask, why do I have these challenges? Maybe I'm ahead of myself and the timing is off. Maybe I'm trying to prove something and I'm wearing egg on my face. Or maybe it's that things are in the process of happening, so let them happen. We have a tendency to force issues. And by forcing issues, sometimes the timing isn't right. So, who am I? And I want to go back to that because I've laid a little background. I'm just checking out the time. And you are a beautiful soul created out of love, by love, from love, and with love. Yeah, you've heard this, you say this before, but the truth is the truth. Truth is undeniable. And it's really undeniable. It's by me looking at to you, it's got blonde hair. It is what, not red, not pink, not yellow and orange. It is blonde hair. And whoever you are, first of all, you have to realize that you are beautiful inside and outside. When we first meet a person, we look at their body, their shape, color of their hair, whatever your preferences are, and that's great. Then you get to know them. And that's the true beauty. And we don't take the time to know that. Too many souls are running away. They're doing parties with drugs and gummy bears and alcohol, and they're taking many vacations, and then they're buying all kinds of things to say, look at me, I'm successful. All these toys, these are nothing but placebos because they don't fulfill you. How do you become fulfilled? There's the rub, as Shakespeare would say. To be or not to be, that is the question. Look at yourself. You came here to share knowledge, to grow, to heal, and to learn, and also to understand the karma and receive the dharma. And also because your epitaph is, what are your relationships with people? What are your relationships with your family and friends? And I was reading something interesting. Every great person who talked about the truth, who felt the truth, who said about the truth, were criticized and judged and put down. And then many years later, they realized they were right. Mahatma Gandhi, look how he changed. When India was part of Pakistan and he broke away the yoke of England, he finally realized that the two religions couldn't get together. So he split up India to India and Pakistan, which created a loose peace. And then we look at our Revolutionary War and we talk like we have to make a change. And they were criticized. Most importantly, you have to learn to listen to your internal guidance. You know innately, automatically, without any question, what feels good and what doesn't feel good. You know that. And here's something you need to realize. God don't make no junk. You've heard that. You are a beautiful soul. It's time to live up to it. But I want to continue this. And those of you who have watched it, bring some questions because we're going to go into it more deeply next week. Now, I know we're running a little short on time, and there's a couple of things I'd like to talk to you about. And that is every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to roughly 7:30 p.m., sometimes a few minutes earlier or later. We call it Soul Awakening, where you ask any question you can, and hopefully I can answer it. Then I deliver a 8 to 10 minute motivational message. And I invite all of you to ask the questions. Even if you know it, you may have forgotten it. How do you access that? I'm glad you asked. The way to access that is freeconferencecall.com, and that telephone number is
202 926 1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446-pound.
I'll
One
do
more
it again.
time, please.
Okay, it's 202 926 1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446-pound. And join us, ask any questions you want. And those messages that I leave, which are 8 to 10 minutes long, you can go to YouTube, it's Dr. Michael B. Gross, and you can view them. And there's a beautiful picture with some kind of motivational thought, and it's audio, so you can listen to it. But the beautiful message with the picture is actually a photograph by an award-winning photographer, Tiu Knapp. So I'd appreciate that. Or you can listen to it while you're driving, you're stuck in traffic, you're grumbling, and you're upset, and probably your heart's pounding, and how have I found more balance, yada, yada, yada. To access that message, which you can listen to, is
434 300 4170. And the access code?
125-446-pound. One more time.
Absolutely. It's 434 300 4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446-pound. However, and semicolon, therefore, comma, little English there. The second Saturday of every month, I do what was called the Mass Consciousness Healing. That is very dear to my heart. And that starts at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. And the first 5 or 6 minutes, I just welcome you there and we chat for a few moments, and then we go into silence. And we bring through this huge, beautiful, loving energy of the true source. And you're a conduit for it. You always have been. And you feel this wonderful energy coming through you. And it not only does it touch Mother Earth, but all the inhabitants, everything, every vibration and frequency. Because Mother Earth has a vibration frequencies, crystals, rocks, animals, minerals, trees, birds, vegetation, everything has that. And what a beautiful way to start off the month to the following month. You feel this overwhelming energy of unconditional love. In order to whoa, get together, Michael. In order to access that, all you need to do is freeconferencecall.com, dialing.
All right. Dial 202-926-1059 and the access code, Michael.
125-446 pound. One more time, please.
Absolutely. It's 202-926-1059 and the access code
125-446 pound. There's something really important by asking you to join us. I always say we're small but mighty, and we are. Every great change that took place on this earth started with just a few souls who believe we can make a change. And this change that I'm asking all of you to be part of is a change of being love, expressing love, and going back to the proverbial Garden of Eden with love. There's love and joy and happiness. And I'd like all of you to understand that you are the solution and you can make a difference. And you go, how can I make a difference? There's 8.5 billion people on this planet. It starts with one, then it goes to two, then it goes to four, then 8, 16. It keeps multiplying. It's wonderful. And if you don't think how that works, there was an old thing, which you bet if you won this golf contest and you played 18 holes, you won $1,000, you want to bet a penny a hole and double it with each hole. And you'll be amazed. Keep doubling that money. It's more than $10,000. It's a huge amount of money. That's the way the multiplier effect. But it has to start somewhere. It has to start with you and me and spreading the word. And I want to share one more thing, and then we'll begin to conclude.
On that note, Michael?
Yeah, go ahead.
What you're just asking us to do is generate a giant ripple of love, beginning with each one of us. And that's exactly what you do on Saturdays, the second Saturday of every month. What a beautiful way to start 2024.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want you all to understand that the world is in chaos right now. No brainer. We're getting divided, not only here, but all over the world. And there's war and there's fighting going on. It's not a question of this person's right or that's not this person's right. I know some of us feel that way, but we have to get beyond that. We have to realize that not only do we need peace on this planet, but we need to teach everyone about being loving and caring, that every soul is important. It's not your political beliefs, your religious beliefs. It's about you are important and expressing the love because that's your essence. Without love, your body will begin to disintegrate. And if you don't believe that, read the stories about people who have illnesses or whatever, or they just get sick. They don't know why. It's because of the lack of love and expressing love. We'll talk about that another time. But also, I'd like to share with you our books. This is a book written by T.U. Knapp, calling Healing the Holes in Your Soul, a beautiful, wonderful woman who rose from the ashes like the proverbial phoenix. It's important. It's a great read. It's very, very, very inspirational. And it talks about her journey into the light. And read it because it will help you go into your light. So I encourage you to read this book.
Thank you, Michael. I encourage everybody to start right here with The Spiritual Primer by Dr. Michael Gross, because if it wasn't for this amazing book and the most incredible man that I know right now sitting next to me on the virtual screen, the book he's holding wouldn't be in existence. He encouraged me to write it, and I'm so glad he did, because it was such a healing journey for me. And everything that keeps moving forward keeps getting ever growing more perfect, you could say. It's amazing how just planting a seed of unconditional love and watering it from time to time with, sometimes I watered it with tears, but it kept growing. And I'm truly blessed and honored to be here with you, Michael. And I highly encourage everybody to start with this book, okay? Because you don't know where this book is going to lead you. And Michael, there's one other question I have for you. Do you offer any kind of a consultation, complimentary consultation?
Funny you should mention that. Like, this wasn't planned, but I offer everybody that is the first time viewing this, I offer a 20-minute to a half an hour complimentary consultation. Take me up on it. My telephone number's there. If I'm tied up, leave me a message and I will get back to you. And it'll be my pleasure to assist you in any way I can. Because my belief is I'm in service to you. I'm in service to wake up your soul so that you can accomplish your mission and goal. And that's so important. And to help you realize that you're more than just a human body, and that your influence with family, friends is so powerful. And the changes you make are more far reaching than you can ever believe. Therefore, I'd like all of you to join us, spread the word, think about it, and remember, because you are important. It only takes one, then it takes two, then becomes four, and we are the solution to everything that's going on. And you can't sit back and you can't hide, because it's time to speak up and be worthy of why you came here and part of your mission and goal, which is to wake up your soul and to do your mission and goal. Everyone, thank you for joining us. I wish you well, joy, and happiness. And remember, you are unlimited. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you, Michael.
We love you. We really
Thank you.
do. Thank you.